This is ACC College Hoops, and tonight's presentation of ACC College Basketball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. The Atlanta Skyline and McCamish Pavilion, the site of our game tonight. One of the top teams in the nation, number 20, the Clemson Tigers in the house to take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Teams played twice last year, and Georgia Tech won both of those meetings. It is so great to have you with us for our game tonight. Tom Wormy along with the Georgia Tech legend Brian Oliver. And the headline, no question for Georgia Tech, Brian, is they have not seen the court in a competitive sense to play a game in 2.5 weeks. How do they respond tonight?
Well, I think that most importantly, they got to have some kind of continuity on both ends of the floor. You want to come out and make sure you establish some kind of rhythm. Make sure that you're running your offense. Make it simple. Don't try to do too much too soon.
And they won that last game they played. That was against Wake Forest. They've won 4 in a row, 2.5 weeks off. For the Clemson Tigers, a game to forget, most recently against Virginia. They look to Amir Sims. Now, he does lead them in scoring and rebounding, Brian, but he struggled like everybody else against Virginia.
Well, absolutely. He's their best player. For them to be able to win, he has to come out. You see the numbers. They're a little down, but because they have a bigger rotation. I think that he's a matchup nightmare for Georgia Tech because who guards them? You try to sit back and you try to, with a smaller lineup, they have to put somebody on him. He can go inside and out, does a lot for Clemson. I think that he has to come out and find his points to dominate tonight.
A 9-2 record this season for the number 20 team in the nation, the Clemson Tigers. When we come back, those lineups, the opening tip from McCamish Pavilion. It's the Tigers and the Yellow Jackets. This is ACC basketball. Moments away from the start of the 139th renewal of the Tiger-Yellow Jacket rivalry as they meet as members of the ACC tonight here at McCamish Pavilion, Atlanta, Georgia. So glad that you're with us. We go right to tonight's starting lineups, and they're brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Johnny Newman, part of that starting lineup. Junior from Greensboro, North Carolina, 7 points in the loss against Virginia. Looking for production from him. And then for Georgia Tech, watch number 10, Jose Alvarado for Coach Pastner. Alvarado over 18 points per game. That's third in the ACC. And his backcourt running mate is Michael DeVoe, one of the best backcourts in the ACC and all of the nation. And those are your starting lineups. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. And there's Jose Alvarado, coming off a 25-point performance in the most recent game for Georgia Tech. And as we told you, Brian Oliver, that was 2.5 weeks ago.
Well, it's interesting to see how these teams can come out and start. You talked about Clemson coming off of getting demolished against UVA. And then obviously for Georgia Tech, let's see how that layoff is going to affect them early in the game.
Yeah, Brad Brownell said they looked at the tape, they identified the inefficiencies, and then with great haste, they discarded that tape and never to be looked at again. So they've made their adjustments, their changes, and we'll see if it pays off tonight against Georgia Tech. Clemson Tigers in the traveling orange and regalia, and Georgia Tech in the gold, blue, and white. Tigers with that opening possession and their 9-2 record, 3-2 in conference play, and they turn it over. Usher tried a big dribble to get around a defender, and they slow down the possession with Alvarado. The win against Wake was 70-54, and that was January 3rd. And they shot 50% as a team from the floor in that game for Georgia Tech. They'll work the shot clock down to 6. Wright will have to shoot it, and that's a 2. Just inside the line from Moses Wright to get the scoring started.
And good start if you're Josh Passion from Moses Wright. He's a guy who struggled in the ACC 3 games, only averaging 9 points. And the things you'll see about Georgia Tech is that they're going to throw a lot of different looks. You see Sims knock down that jump shot as well.
Brad Brownell, head coach of the Tigers in his 11th year, closing in on 200 wins as the Tigers head coach, but already with 194, and that's the most in school history. 18th year overall as a head coach for Brad Brownell. Alvarado trying to get around Sims. Moses Wright going on a rim bender.
And Tom, that set was set up by the penetration of Alvarado. He's going to have to win that matchup and beat his man to the basket. That last time, a beautiful setup to get Moses Wright off to a good start.
How about a long distance straightaway three, and it is good.
See Dawes knocking down, and Alamir Dawes is one of those guys that can create his own shot, but you've got to get up on him because he is a good three-point shooter as well.
That's Parham kicking it out to Usher for three. The long rebound goes to Dawes, who just knocked down that three-pointer. He averages close to 9 points per game, trying to work his way around Alvarado. And the officials say there was some contact.
There are a lot of different matchups during the night that I'm going to keep my eye on. And one is that one between Alvarado and Alamir Dawes, because you got both guys that got a little dog in them, and they will look to penetrate and look for their offense as they set the teammates up too.
You know, Dawes did not have a point in that loss against Virginia, and that's his teammate cranking one up and knocking it down for Clyde Trapp.
Clyde Trapp, not known to be a great three-point shooter, but Clemson off to a good start. One of the things you're interested in seeing, and after the Virginia game, how would they respond? Brad Barnell said that they need to come out with a lot of energy and be aggressive.
They've made a couple of threes, Brian. They went 5 of 23 from beyond the arc. Right, rips it away, goes in for another slam, and he got fouled.
What we said earlier on is that Moses Wright has been a guy that had high numbers in the beginning of these 3 games. But you see him wrestle the ball from Clyde Trapp, and in the finish for the and one, about the offensive burst from Moses Wright.
The senior from Raleigh, North Carolina. His points so far tonight of the thunderous variety, punishing the rim, and he's 69% from the stripe on the season. Could not complete the old school three-point play for Moses Wright, 6th in the conference in scoring, 17 points per game for number 5 and White in a turnover. DuVoe waiting for Alvarado. That's a three. Wright tapped it out, but it was Wright to Trapp. This is Newman. Up with the ball again, trying to step back. Alvarado closes. Shot clock to 6. Sims lost it on the block. DuVoe.
Early turnovers by Clemson as Georgia Tech switches up their defense.
DuVoe in heavy traffic. Had it knocked out of bounds as they collapsed defensively. On DuVoe. Jonathan Baer making the play. Got his 8th start of the season tonight in that lineup for Coach Brownell. Quick release, Alvarado got hit. And a foul coming up against Dawes, who was the closest defender, creating that contact. First on Dawes. All right, time for tonight's keys to the game. They're brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Brian Oliver has them.
And for Clemson, aggressive start. We talked about coming off of the game against Virginia. You need to come out with aggressive start. And then for Georgia Tech with that long layoff, offensive discipline. They've come out so far and they've been able to run their sets. Both teams coming out playing with really good energy. Georgia Tech being able to get Clemson turned over by changing up their defenses.
87% from the line on the season for Alvarado, 1 of 2. That percentage is 2nd best in the ACC. There aren't a lot of statistical categories that Jose Alvarado is not involved in when you look at those ACC rankings. 3rd in points, 6th in overall field goal percentage. Another turnover in DuVoe. Trying to get by Baer and waiting for reinforcements.
Earlier on, it looked like Clemson's having a problem with that 1-3-1 zone from Georgia Tech. That's one of the things we talked with Brad Barnell. Is he said nifty pass over to Jordan Usher from Jose Alvarado. Caught the defender sleeping.
Usher had just 1 point in that win 2.5 weeks ago against Wake, but he did have 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks. So the senior added in different ways to that victory against Wake Forest, the most recent for Georgia Tech. Inside, other side of the rim, and 2 for Trapp.
And Tom, that's how you beat that 1-3-1 zone, is that you got to attack the corners. That last time, being able to get the ball over to Trapp, and Trapp being able to get to the basket where Georgia Tech didn't have any rim protection.
So that Trapp basket makes it 10-9 Clemson. Very entertaining first few minutes of this first half between Georgia Tech and Clemson, which has won 5 of the last 7 meetings between the teams, and Baer ends up with it. Tigers shot 40% as a team in the loss to Virginia, 85-50. That was last Saturday. Entry to Sims. One power dribble, switching to the left.
And that's where I think Clemson has an advantage. You saw that last time. Cross screen over to get Amir Sims. Sealed down there. He's got Moses Wright. Good play for him to be able to go in and attack. No help for Georgia Tech.
Just under 12 points per game for Amir Sims, the senior from Palmyra, Virginia, and Blue Ridge High School. And that number leads this Tiger team. Long-range three. It's DeVoe.
You saw Georgia Tech looking for a double screen right there. He took his eyes off of him, and you got to make sure that you honor that jump shot by Michael DeVoe.
21st made three of the season for DeVoe, and that leads the team for Georgia Tech. Nobody makes more or attempts more threes for the Jackets than DeVoe. Sims forcing his way in. Second effort. Newman volleyballs it, but right to Usher. Tied at 12 in the first half. Straight away. Moses Wright for three.
Looks like somebody's feeling it. Again, Moses Wright, not a guy that's been shooting the ball that well from behind the arc. Only 36%. Coming out with an offensive burst tonight.
His fifth made three of the season for Wright. Sims, the one-timer, pass into the corner for Newman, right in front of the Georgia Tech bench area.
Good ball movement. You see John Newman being able to knock down that three. Both teams doing a good job of being able to get their looks and shooting the ball a lot better than they have in the past.
And Newman had only made 4 threes prior to tonight as well, Brian. And he knocks that one down from the corner pocket. Right inside, over Sims, bear the board. Don't see a whole lot of rust on Georgia Tech so far, Brian.
Well, in either team, you see that they've been able to come out and both teams shoot the ball real well. You see Alamir Dawes for that pull-up.
Foul on the play as Alvarado ended up with the basketball. But so far, Clemson and Georgia Tech playing even. 50-all the first half from Atlanta, Georgia. Time for tonight's Honda startup. It involves Moses Wright, 9 points. That includes a three and a couple of thunderous jams as well, Brian.
And we touched on the fact that in 3 ACC games, he's only averaging 9 points. He came out early, got 2 quick dunks, has been super active on the defensive end. He's been the guy that came out and it looked like he was hunting his offense, getting off to a good start. He's already got his average at 9 points right now. You're Josh Pastner, you have to be ecstatic on how Moses Wright has come out from the beginning of this game.
Now, Moses Wright has had some big games this season already. First game of the year against Georgia State, 31 points and 19 rebounds. And those 19 boards were a career high for Moses Wright. Of course, that Georgia State game was quadruple overtime.
That you and I were part of.
So, just saying. November 25th against Georgia State, 123 to 120, 4 OTs, and the longest game in the history of both programs. So Georgia Tech, 6 of 10 from the field, couple of threes. Wright has one of those. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Georgia Tech is a good shooting team, 5th in the conference, 47%. And that percentage is going up thanks to that three from Alvarado.
When you talk about Alvarado, you look at the numbers, 17 points a game in all 3 games. But the thing that's astounding for me is shooting 40% from behind the arc. Georgia Tech doing a good job of being able to space Clemson out.
19th made 3 of the season for Alvarado, and now a turnover. So that gives him 145 threes for his career, 12th in Georgia Tech history. Usher was the cutter on the baseline, able to save it to Wright. DeVoe with a reset, 8 on the shot clock. DeVoe's got the other 3-pointer in the game for Georgia Tech. And now Alvarado cranks up another one. It was online, but just a smidge strong.
Well, if you're Georgia Tech also, being able to run your shot, and the thing we talked about with Josh Pastner is making the right pass.
Behind the play, Parham is still down as Alvarado goes into the corner. You'll see Parham come into your screen from the left, joining the play. Sims, the man-sized rebound underneath. Hunter Tyson is in, number 5 in orange. And a foul is called. That's Parham, who was down behind the play. So Georgia Tech has the 18-15 lead. There's a timeout on the court. 11-11 to go in our first half. Georgia Tech has the 18-15 lead over the number 20 team in the nation. And there's Jose Alvarado prior to the game with Josh Pastner, honored for over 1,000 points in his Georgia Tech career. And Jose Alvarado is tonight's Hardee's Star to Watch, brought to you by Hardee's. Jose Alvarado, the senior from Brooklyn, New York.
And you look at those numbers right there. He has had an exceptional campaign right now, and I like the fact that he has been aggressive, not so much in hunting his offense, but on the defensive end. Clemson already with 5 turnovers, and then Georgia Tech with 5 steals. Alvarado is the guy that's there, the leading guy as far as trying to get everyone involved, the heart and soul of this Georgia Tech team.
A game-high 25 points in their most recent game 2.5 weeks ago. Part of that 3-game stretch, and Jose Alvarado, our Hardee's Star to Watch. 4 points so far tonight for Coach Pastner. Sims will take a seat in the bench area for the Clemson Tigers. We told you he's their leading scorer this season, but right now it's Sims with 4 points. Trapp is the leading scorer in the first half with 5 for Clemson. And Moses Wright is already into double digits, number 5 in white. He's got 10 points, 4 of 6 from the floor. So Moses Wright yet to get a rebound. He's also their leading rebounder. Wright averages just over 7 boards per game. Nick Honor is into the game. He's got the ball right now, number 4 in orange. Big part of that win in overtime against NC State. They'll go for the alley-oop and cannot complete the play at the rim.
It seems that Clemson's had a lot of trouble with that 1-3-1. You saw Moses Wright at the heart of that defense right there. Long arms forced that turnover to Clemson.
So a lot of new faces into the lineup. Hunter, number 3. Tyson, number 5 in orange. P.J. Hall is in there, number 24. We told you about Nick Honor, the transfer, getting his first action this season in a Clemson uniform. Wright grazes the front of the rim. Goes out of bounds right in front of Clyde Trapp. He let it go. He made a good decision because it's Clemson basketball according to our officials. Roger Ayers, Ramey Styons, and Jerry Heater hearing it from Josh Pastner.
P.J. Hall is a guy that I'm really high on. I like the fact that he's a guy that can stretch the defense, good presence down low. Brad Brownell will go at least 11 deep today.
That little turnaround is too strong from Tyson. Got his own board. And a whistle stops play. Hunter Tyson, he's got that protective facial mask. His first game back from the injury was against Virginia last Saturday. 18 minutes, 7 points, and 2 boards for Tyson. Seven of 10 on the season from the line for Hunter Tyson. While we have a moment, a word from Works.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
Hunter Tyson, the junior from Monroe, North Carolina, out of Piedmont High School. DeVoe on the bench now for Georgia Tech. Scored over 2,000 points in his high school career. Good from the line. Suffered that facial injury against Alabama, and now Amir Sims comes back in for the Clemson Tigers. Just 2 points and 5 boards, and 1 of 9 shooting for Sims in that struggle all night long against Virginia at home.
Well, and we talked to Brad Brownell about that. Like you said, they looked at the tape and they realized that there were some things that they could have done better. But then they've come out and they played with really good energy. Outside of the turnovers, they shot the ball extremely well from inside and out.
They try to loop it inside. And that one was stolen away right on the baseline. Honor made the play. Took it away from Rodney Howard, who's in there now, number 24 in white. Pump it up to 3 and knocking it down. Nick Honor.
Honor, a 41% three-point shooter. If you're Georgia Tech, you got to hedge that pick and roll because you got to understand that that's what he wants to do. He can get to the basket, but if you give him daylight, he's going to knock that 3 down.
Leading three-point shooter for the Clemson Tigers. He's now made 24 threes on the season to lead the way for Clemson. This is Wright cruising through the lane. There was contact as he sent it to Parham. So Hall picks up the foul.
Where you see the penetration and Hall leaning in right there. And then on the other end, you see Honor coming off that pick and roll. You see Howard not showing, giving him daylight to be able to knock down that 3.
First field goal attempt for Honor goes down for a 3, and now Hall comes out of the game. Quick conversation with Brad Brownell. Georgia Tech went 17 and 14 last year. Parham stepping back. This is Wright, offensive glass. Again, that's dunk number 3 in the first half.
And you saw him fight for the basketball, but then how about the finish the other end? Moses Wright definitely showing that he has not shown any effects for that layoff.
How about Moses Wright tonight? Honor, catch, and release. That's in rhythm, and he's ripping the ropes.
Again, if you're the Georgia Tech defenders, you've got to know the scouting report is that Nick Honor is their best three-point shooter. And he's one of those guys, again, that can catch fire. Good ball rotation to find him wide open.
2 for 2 for Honor from three-point real estate. And now 25 made threes on the season for the transfer from Fordham out of Orlando, Florida. Stepping back, Alvarado off the mark. And to Bear. Trap directs a little traffic for the Tigers. Up 23-21. Closely contested first half as we go inside of 8 minutes to go in this first half. Parham trying to defend traveling violation. Jerry Heater was all over the call.
Moses Wright started it off early, fighting for the balls, and he's coming up with a powerful strong. We got a close one.
ACC Hoops is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. We resolve to help North Carolina stay healthy. Your local Ford dealer. And Continental Tire for what you do.
Back in Atlanta, Georgia. And McCamish Pavilion, the side of our game tonight on ACC College Hoops, and a 2-point lead for the number 20 team in the nation. And by the way, the Clemson Tigers, strong from the field. They're near the bottom of the conference as far as shooting percentage is concerned at 42%, but much improved tonight. 5 threes made. Georgia Tech has 4 of its own. And points inside the paint, Brian, you'd have to give most of those to Moses Wright for Georgia Tech in the early going here in the first half.
And absolutely, he's come out and he's been more aggressive than we've seen him as of late, trying to take advantage of opportunities. And I think his energy has definitely helped Tech early on. But going back to Clemson, 71% from behind the arc. Amazing that they're also shooting 60% and allowing them to have that 2-point lead so far.
So the Tigers average 8 made threes per game, which is 9th in the conference, already 5. Georgia Tech has the ball with Parham. Tigers 5 of 7 from 3 and 4 of 9 from 3 for Georgia Tech. Very nicely played ball game so far in this first half between these two teams. Remember, it's been a long layoff for Georgia Tech. That involved a couple of postponed games. And hadn't played since early January. This is Moses Wright. Unselfishly kicks it back out into the corner. It's a 3. Usher launched it. Keep an eye on Alvarado. Take a look at the replay first, Brian.
Well, you saw that Moses Wright was able to force Clemson to come down and help, and then passing the ball out to Jordan Usher. One of the things when talking to Josh Pastner, he also said that get a good shot, but also find the better shot for your teammate.
So you saw the tail end of that as Alvarado went right down the tunnel and back for further medical evaluation. Keep you updated on that situation, because Josh Pastner has told us on a number of occasions we cannot win in the ACC without Jose Alvarado, their leading scorer. We're going to have to make up the difference now, and here comes DeVoe. Usher is open again. Same results. Jordan Usher.
See Jordan Usher with the look off of Kyle Sturdivant. He was saying, hey, I'm feeling it right now. Georgia Tech doing a good job of being able to limit Clemson on one end and knock down those threes. Positive energy in play from Jordan Usher.
2 for 3 on three-pointers for Usher and 8 points. 3 of 4 in total from the floor. This is Newman. Ran into the DeVoe roadblock and had to kick it back out. Sims off the miss, and he'll clean up the mess.
Nice offensive rebound by Amir Sims. And I think that Clemson, that's still a matchup between him and Moses Wright. He's got to make Moses Wright work on the defensive end. Right now, Moses being able to put all of his energy just on offense.
6 points for Sims. He and his team shooting 56% in this first half. 53% for Georgia Tech. Sturdivant on the dribble.
You look at that replay, and you see Alvarado come in, and it looks like he rolled that right ankle right there. In contact with Nick Honor. You see it limps back, and you can see him in the tunnel now. Looks like he probably had them retape that ankle, like he's trying to put that shoe come back in.
Yeah, he went right back to the dressing room, right down the tunnel after turning that ankle. But as Brian mentioned, he's trying to make a hasty return to the ball game. DeVoe, that's a three.
You saw that play that Michael DeVoe had John Newman on him and got a little bit of a step back for separation. And his points per game have stepped up also. 19 in 3 ACC games. You see yet another turnover, offensive foul, illegal pick by Clemson.
Second on Hall, back to Georgia Tech. And you saw that shot of Jose Alvarado coming out of the tunnel with a fist pump as his team scored and then turned over the Tigers. Alvarado now in the bench area. You see how serious they are about all the protocols and distancing. The names are on the chairs. You're not going to go to the wrong chair, bro. They're going to distance. What's down?
Are you kidding me?
Double-fisted, Brian.
Oh, my goodness. Whoa.
We're lucky that the stanchion is still intact.
Put the kids to bed. Moses Wright. Oh, my goodness. How about that? I got to wait for that. How about the... And you see the pass, and then a little bit of a turn and go, and all you can do is just go ahead and duck. That's definitely a poster that you do not want to be a part of.
Wow.
And you see Nick Honor just realize, I'm going to get out of the way. Good swing through, getting by P.J. Hall. And how about getting his teammate Jose Alvarado and say, my ankle doesn't feel that bad.
He hopped up out of that chair with his name on it real quick to watch Moses Wright. Just a little bit of a smirk after that jam, and he deserves it. That, by my count, Brian, that's at least 4 slams in the first half for Moses Wright.
Well, if you remember in our call today with Josh Pastner, I questioned about, hey, where's Moses Wright? Last 3 games hadn't really done much. And I'm wondering if Josh Pastner said, hey, Brian Oliver called you out.
You mean the 1990 ACC tournament MVP?
Well, maybe that's what it was, because, again, he's come out with a certain type of energy from the inset on both ends of the floor. And, I mean, he's already had 4 highlight reel dunks.
And you know that last play that we showed you, the double-fisted jam there by Wright, that was premeditated. As soon as he got the ball, he was going right to the goal.
And he made his mind up as soon as he got that he was attacking. And I guess if you're Clemson, you have to find a way to force. So you see John Newman comes back with an answer with a 3.
So Newman knocks down the 3. His second of this first half. He'd only averaged 4.2 points per game coming into this game for Newman. And now he's up to 6 with those 2 3-point baskets. Key contributor in the first half for Clemson. Right again. And he got fouled.
And, Tom, that play was set up by the patience of Kyle Sturdivant, getting into the lane, keeping a live dribble, forcing the help, being able to get the ball over, and then you see Moses Wright being able to finish around the rim. And again, Georgia Tech has done a really good job of being able to space out the Clemson defenders and be patient. That was one of the things we talked about. Key for them is having some offensive discipline, especially after not playing for 17 days. But then on the other end, Clemson shooting 58% and then 66 from behind the arc.
Wright able to finish off the three-point play. And again, this whistle's against the Tigers.
That last time, Jonathan Baird getting called for that moving screen. And a lot of times, if I'm a guard and I'm coming off a pick, I want my big guy to go ahead and stay and not move. And that last time, Baird moving just a little bit.
So Moses Wright is up to 17 points in the half. Shuttles it to Usher, who turns and scores.
Again, you see Moses Wright, whenever he gets that ball, his first thing is go to the basket. Force the help. Help came over, and nice nifty pass over to Jordan Usher.
Usher is also in double digits with 10.
Georgia Tech with his largest lead of the first half.
So Usher, 7th time this season, he's gotten to double digits, courtesy of the pass from Moses Wright. He's into double digits for the 8th time this season. Knocked away and taken by Usher. DeVoe on the run. Parham, hesitation, knocked away by Trapp, who recovered defensively.
Nice block by Trapp. Oh, how about the up and under in the move? He was able to freeze Jordan Usher. For those on the playground, we call that a little bit of a hizzy for the hesitation.
Usher back the other way, and he hits another three.
Wow. Talking about an offensive display by both teams. Jordan Usher coming down. It looks like he's taking on 2 for Jose Alvarado. 13 points in the first half. Already 3 from 4 from behind the three-point line.
Usher had 8 made threes all season. He's got 3 tonight. I'll tell you what, with Alvarado on the bench, his teammates are playing some inspired ball right now. DeVoe cut off on the baseline by Nick Honor. What an exciting first half of basketball, and Georgia Tech maintains a 10-point lead. Shot clock is at 7 for Parham. Down the lane. Good ball move. It's a miss from 3-point distance for Sturdivant, and then Parham hit the deck. Got tangled up with Baer. Jose Alvarado had to leave with a bit of an ankle injury. He's back on the bench, and his teammates have the lead by 10. A 10-point lead for Georgia Tech late in the first half. And how about the three-point barrage? 14 threes between the teams.
And we questioned whether there was going to be a lot of rust, but Georgia Tech came out, and from the inset, they've been knocking down threes, doing a great job of being able to get those looks, set their feet straight, and you've got a lot of those guys, and look at it. Jordan Usher, 3 for 4. Michael DeVoe, 2 for 2. Moses Wright, 2 for 4. 2 for 2. And the guy that actually shoots it the best, Jose Alvarado, only a measly 1 for 4 from behind the arc.
He's all right. He's an interested spectator right now. He had to leave a couple of minutes ago with an ankle injury, back on the bench and in that bench area, watching his teammates who average, as a team, Georgia Tech averages about 8 made threes per game. They've got that many in the first half.
Well, I'm going to tell you how Georgia Tech was able to get those 8 threes. A lot of it is that they've done a good job on the spacing. The aggressiveness early by Moses Wright has put a lot of pressure on the Clemson defense. Every time he gets the ball, he's headed towards the rim, forcing the help. Georgia Tech making the extra pass and being able to knock down shots.
It's 1 of 2 from Parham. Coming up on the Toyota halftime report, we've got the first half highlights, and there are plenty of them, and the stats. And then we continue with the series on Commissioner John Swofford as the legacy continues. It's part 3, as John Swofford will be retiring at the end of this academic and athletic season, and we congratulate Mr. Swofford and everything that he has meant to this conference. That's coming up on the Toyota halftime report. Second effort, it's Sims, and he'll go to the free throw line.
And Tom, that's where I think Clemson gets back in this game. You saw the last time they realized that they had the mismatch. Amir Sims on a smaller Jordan Usher, going away from the double team, not giving up on the play, being able to go back in for the and one. if you're Brad Brownell, you look at the mismatches and you realize that you got Amir Sims and then give him a touch. As you see Jose Alvarado come back into the game.
So Sims at the line, Alvarado back in. 9 points now for Sims. Alvarado's got 4 points in 13 minutes in this first half. Good to see him back into the game. And there's a timeout now by Coach Pastner.
Yeah, but you see the frustration from Jordan Usher right now, but you never pick up your dribble in the backcourt like that. If anything, you get that ball across half court. Good thing that he called timeout, but he was looking for a bailout from Jose Alvarado or Kyle Sturdivant.
While we have a second, Brian, now a word from Coyote Tractor.
Not a single tractor ever been built that's better equipped to do the dirty work. Coyote, we dig dirt.
41-33 is the Georgia Tech lead. Now, Georgia Tech has won 4 games in a row. The Tigers coming off of that loss against Virginia, but they had won 4 in a row prior to that as well.
But here's the thing, though. Throughout the season, how many teams have we seen have a really hot start and then have to go into the shutdown with the protocol and come back and are a shell of themselves before? So far, first half, Georgia Tech has done an amazing job on both ends of the floor, getting steals and obviously shooting the ball, especially from behind the arc.
1:45 to go in our first half. Nowhere to go for Sturdivant. Moses right. DeVoe. That's 3, rattling it home.
And again, nice play by Moses Wright, being able to put the ball on the floor, force the help. You have to stay with Michael DeVoe again, especially as well as Georgia Tech has been shooting the ball.
So Parham picks up the foul. And you want to stay tuned for the fast break presented by your local Ford dealer. We'll break down some of the headlines and news and notes inside the ACC in an exciting season, a challenging one as well. And we're so happy to be in the building tonight. Tom Wormy, Brian Oliver, and our outstanding ACC College Hoops production crew with you. Sims stumbled, got it back to Tyson, launching a 3. Trapp is over the top to get it and score it.
Clyde Trapp is one of those guys that's going to hover around the rim right there, realizing he's got an advantage over Alvarado. And again, it's always good when you see big guards like that be able to go and crash the offensive boards.
Sims and Trapp both have 9 points in the first half for the Tigers, and that leads the way for Clemson. Nearing the end of our first 20 minutes. You're not going to find a more exciting and entertaining 20 minutes of basketball than what we have been treated to. DeVoe had it knocked away by Trapp. Reich got it back, trying to beat the shot clock, and he can't do it.
Good defensive possession by Clemson. Clyde Trapp, one of the better wing defenders in the league, to come up with that block.
It's about a 4 to 5 second differential, game and shot. Tigers shooting 54% in the first half. Bested by a single percentage point by Georgia Tech, shooting 55% in this very well played first half of basketball. So Parham picks up another foul. Coach Pastner 3 and 5 in his career against Clemson. Told you that last year Georgia Tech won both games. But Coach Pastner classified those as backyard brawls, not things of beauty. This first half has been excellent, although Sims would like that one back as he fumbled it away. Sturdivant pulls it up baseline. Tried to beat that game clock, got the shot away but missed. 44-35 the count and the lead for Georgia Tech going to the locker room.
Good half by Georgia Tech. 10 turnovers, highlighted by Moses Wright, 17. Georgia Tech up by 9 going to the half.
Yellow Jacket to achieve.
Just some awesome some images from that first half of play. And Trapp and Sims, they're the leading scorers with 9 each. Sims is the leading scorer on the season for Clemson. Nick Honor also had 6 with a couple of threes. Wright was 17. Usher had 13 points. DeVoe with 9. Alvarado missed a good portion of that first half with the ankle injury, but has since come back into the lineup for Georgia Tech, and they've got the halftime lead. Was that a fun first half of basketball or what, Brian?
Absolutely. And if I'm Brad Brownell in the locker room, I'm gonna tell my team that, hey, we've got to tighten the screws up on defense. This is a team that's second in the conference in points allowed at only 60. Georgia Tech put on 44 in the half. I'm going to tell them that we've got to take care of the ball and we've got to turn up our defensive intensity. And if you're Josh Pastner, you basically tell you guys much of what we've been doing. Take the offense, make the extra pass, and you make sure that Moses Wright is still drinking whatever he was before the game, and that he still is hyper and ready to go.
Some liquid refreshment at halftime for Moses Wright. And don't forget, Georgia Tech, 80.1 points per game. That is the best in the ACC, although bolstered by that quadruple overtime game we told you about, where they scored 120 points. Quick ball movement, DeVoe. Tries to go down Broadway. Usher, who found the distance from three-point range in the first half, cannot hit the mid-range turnaround.
And that's the type of defense for Clemson, is that you're able to guard your man one-on-one. You don't have to help. Everyone is able to keep the offensive play in front of them.
Driving and scoring. Count the hoop for Trapp. Now he's over at the official, and some clarification.
You see Clyde Trapp, come off with the bare screen, turn the hoop, and you see Jose Alvarado get caught handing a cookie jar. Apparently, they're not going to give him the and one.
Non-shooting foul on the drive by Trapp. That's why he ran over to the official immediately, looking for a bit of continuation. Now drives and dishes. Sims put it on the floor. Shot clock is at 5. That one goes in and out on the shot attempt by Dawes. Possession preserved by the Tigers.
I thought Amir Sims had a chance to shoot that last time. He passed up a little bit of a bunny for the extra pass.
They work that shot clock down to 5 once again. Sims with a nifty dribble. It's in traffic. Got tangled up with DeVoe, who gets whistled for the foul.
And that's one of the things you can get with Amir Sims' game, is the guy we talked about being able to go in and out. That last time being able to attack Moses Wright. And I still think that that's a matchup that they have to go to a little bit more to get into this league.
Tigers have won 5 of the last 7 meetings between the teams, but have lost 2 in a row against Georgia Tech. Again, deep into the shot clock for Sims. Wright tried to tie him up. Newman. That's a shot clock violation.
Good defensive possession by Georgia Tech, and it all started by Moses Wright being able to contain Amir Sims on the drive, getting his hands on the ball there that last time. Good defensive effort. Right now, you'd have to say that Moses Wright is winning the one-on-one battle between the two.
It'll stay with Georgia Tech in this 139th meeting between these two programs. Georgia Tech leads the way in Atlanta, 44-26 in the matchups between the teams. Clemson has the lead as ACC members. That's off the glass. Physics calculated by Moses Wright.
And the way that was made, you saw Michael DeVoe pull 2 guys off of that pick and roll, allowing Moses Wright to be able to go to the basket. Late defense of help, and you see Moses Wright come over to another good defensive play.
Newman missed the second effort, tried to get it back. Stolen away by Alvarado. Does not have the numerical advantage. Holds things up for a moment to DeVoe. 46-35, back up by 11. Miss on the shot from DeVoe. This matches that largest lead from the first half. Sims coming down the lane, and Parham had position, absorbing contact from Sims.
And you see Amir Sims coming down, making that pass. Bubba Parham setting up, having his feet set. Good play by Bubba Parham, recognizing that Sims had already committed himself off the pass.
So Sims will have to come out of the ball game, Brian. That's now 3 personal fouls. Amir Sims, 9 points, but to the bench and 4 of 7 shooting after the foul by Sims. DeVoe draws in 2 defenders, gives it to Wright over top of the defense and scores. Moses Wright.
And that last play, you saw Michael DeVoe come out and he pulled P.J. Hall. He forced him to have to help on that dribble, and that allowed Moses Wright to be able to go ahead and flare there. That last time, no help, nice little jump hook over his left shoulder.
A lot of dribbling from Sims, gives it to Honor. Hall stripped away. Moses Wright. Usher joins the fray, accelerates and dishes. DeVoe for 3.
And that's where Georgia Tech is at their best. If you're Brad Barnell, you need a timeout. This one's getting away from you. Georgia Tech on a 7-0 run.
DeVoe now 4 for 4 on 3-point attempts. 51-35, Georgia Tech. Largest lead of the game at 16 points now for Georgia Tech after leading by 9 at halftime. Moses Wright in this game. 21 points for Wright, Brian.
Well, you see he's being able to do it inside and out. And then his partner, Michael DeVoe, has been able to knock down threes. Georgia Tech has done an amazing job of making the extra pass, getting the penetration, forcing Clemson to have to help. And how about the fact right now, 10 threes for Georgia Tech.
Tigers still looking for their first points of the second half. Michael DeVoe, 4 for 4, leading 3-point shooter. Now he's up to 24 made threes on the season to lead the club. DeVoe had 4 made threes on 10 chances in that most recent game 2.5 weeks ago against Wake Forest and had 17 points. Honor lost it. Alvarado will do it himself and lay it in.
It just seems that Georgia Tech, and we talked to Coach Pastner earlier, and he said that we've got to win the scrum game. I didn't understand when he was talking about that, getting loose balls, being able to fight for it. It seems like right now Georgia Tech, active hands, using defense to create offense.
They go into Sims. Nifty little adjustment to the entry pass for Amir Sims.
Nice pass by Nick Honor to get an easy layup for Amir Sims. Again, a lot of pick and roll for Clemson. And I still think that you got to get Amir Sims a little bit more touches down low.
Wright, for the 5th time this season, over 20 points in a ball game. Nowhere to go there. Defended by the wily Sims. Wright thought about 3, put the shoulder down. A lot of times, Brian, that will result in the offensive foul, but not this time. So we'll take a timeout. Opening minutes of our second half. Jose Alvarado from up on top of the rim looks one way and lays it in with the left.
Easy Hoops is brought to you by the Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Step into the future of lawn care and check mowing off your to-do list for good. Available at mylandroid.com. CPI Security. And Honda Dealers of the Carolinas.
The Atlanta Skyview lighten up the night inside McCamish Pavilion in the second half. It's Georgia Tech lighting up the scoreboard, and they're up by 18, their largest lead. 4-legged fans as well in the virtual form. Those cardboard cutouts. We also have up to 1,200 fans in the building tonight. Most of them students enjoying what they've seen so far.
Well, and Georgia Tech has given them an awful lot to cheer for. Again, if you're Clemson, you got to find a way to chip back into this lead. Georgia Tech up 16. 22 points off of 14 Clemson turnovers.
56% shooting in the game for Georgia Tech with the basketball now. Led by Moses Wright, 21 points, 9 of 13 from the floor, and 2 for 2 on his 3-point attempts. They work it around the perimeter. DeVoe trying to stay perfect. And he will. Another 3. That's 5 for 5. Michael DeVoe.
And Jose Alvarado with the hockey assist. He was able to force them to have to help, get the ball out, extra pass, and you got to honor that three-point shot. And yet Georgia Tech with another steal. Active hands.
You are right. It's like a power play out there right now for Georgia Tech. Alvarado on the handle. It's funny, his teammates have picked up the slack. He hasn't really had to do much tonight. 6 points, couple of assists, couple of rebounds as well for Alvarado. DeVoe, late in the shot clock, knocked away.
It's still by Hemingway.
Alex Hemingway is into the game, number 12, as Brian mentioned, in orange. This will be trap on the miss. No problem for Alvarado on the board, and he'll jog it up.
I'm going to tell you, when we talked to Josh Pastner today, when we were talking about the layoff for Georgia Tech, there's no way in the world, Tom Wormy, that I thought that Georgia Tech was going to come out, not so much with the offensive display, but how they've been able to force this Clemson turnover, because Clemson is one of the tops in the league as far as assist to turnover ratio, do a better job of taking care of the ball.
It's about the only misstep that Moses Wright has taken all night as he misses the mark on that shot. Hemingway lines up that three and hits it.
And Hemingway is one of those guys, too, that can help them get back in this game. 38%, one of the better three-point shooters in the league. Again, if you're Georgia Tech, you got to stay home on him.
Hemingway's now made 11 threes on the season. His career three-point percentage is over 44%, one of the best in school history, as a sophomore, albeit, from Newburgh, Indiana. And now the steal, and it's Hemingway. 3-on-2 potentially. Newman. Hello, Newman with the left hand.
And Clemson back with 5 unanswered points right now. If you're Josh Pastner, you try to get your guys together and calm them down.
So the Tigers refusing to buckle. Here on Cremins court. You know he's watching from wherever Bobby Cremins might be.
And that's
a miss from Usher.
Bad shot last time, but when you look at Clemson, how they get back in this game, you see create turnovers, getting out in transition for the finish. And again, that last shot, if you're Josh Pastner, you can't be happy with that. That's not what you want.
So there is a timeout on the court. 44-35 was the halftime lead for Coach Pastner's crew. They stretched it out in this second half, scored the first 7 points. While we have a sec, here's a word from Continental Tire.
You're made to move. Continental Tire. For what you do.
So Georgia Tech in this second half, Brian, built a 19-point lead at 56-37. Tigers trying to climb back into this one.
Yeah, well, and you saw Clemson come back with 5 unanswered points off of 2 quick Georgia Tech turnovers, and then you see a bad shot by Jordan Usher, and he quickly got the hook from Josh Pastner.
Usher, who has hit 3 three-pointers on 5 attempts. So 56-42. Inside, Newman was open and just barely got it over the front rim.
And you saw a backdoor cut by John Newman. Almost came up a little short on that one, but I love the play. Pick and roll, forced the help off of Amir Sims. Again, he's one of the better passing big men in the ACC.
Credit to Newman for staying with it on the way up. He was able to get it over the front rim, and he's into double digits with 10 points for Newman. Shot clock is down to 6. A lot of dribbling from Sturdivant. Over the defender and scoring as he got it over Chase Hunter.
Nice play by Sturdivant to stop that Clemson 7-0 run. And again, if you're Clemson, that pick and roll action has been working for you. Keep the spacing, attack the rim, force Moses Wright away from the rim. Nice backdoor cut. And again, Amir Sims dropping another dime. You saw John Newman with a back cut and finish at the rim. Seems like Clemson is picking up a little offensive momentum.
So that's 12 points now for Newman. Keep in mind his average on the season is 4.2 points per game. And had 7 in the loss to Virginia. And 10 minutes off the bench for Newman. And where to go for Alvarado. Shot clock is down to 2. Alvarado just has to beat. It's a good defensive sequence from Clemson.
And what you see is Clemson starting to pick up their intensity. And you see a nice little finish. Well, it looked like he almost finished Nick Honor going to the basket. How about that cut pass by Jose Alvarado? Nice dive by Michael DeVoe. Caught the defense sleeping.
That tandem collaborates for 2 for Alvarado. The lead is 14. Step back. Newman. Parham favoring the right leg as he goes out of bounds to save it. And now the officials will stop play. He did well to not travel after he stole the ball, but again, stumbling out of bounds. How about Alvarado and DeVoe, Brian?
And you see the backdoor dime. Jose Alvarado going. Georgia Tech stretching out that lead.
60-46 is the lead for Georgia Tech, playing its 3rd ranked opponent of the season. December 6th, they beat Kentucky, which was number 20 at the time. December 15th, lost at Florida State, which was number 15 at the time. And now the Clemson Tigers, number 20 in the nation, but an uphill climb for John Newman, the 3rd of the Tigers, although Newman well exceeding his points average for the season.
And I think that his activity, especially around the rim, has allowed them to be able to make a quick run. But Georgia Tech being able to answer that little mini run from them. And you see the point right there, 12 points for John Newman.
8 points for Alvarado. Had to leave for a few minutes in the first half with a slight ankle injury. Got a little tape on the ankle. Put the sock on and the sneaker on and ready to go in the latter stages of that first half for Georgia Tech. Sims, leading scorer on the season for the Tigers, 11 points. He's one of 2 players in double digits along with Newman.
For the lineup that Clemson has on the game, if I'm Brad Bonnell, I'm looking at a pick and roll between Nick Honor and P.J. Hall. But on the other end with Georgia Tech, keep running your motion offense, move Clemson from left to right, make a pass to get your teammate open.
Sturdivant is open. That's 3 and it's home net.
And it was just that slight little pick and roll that forced the shift of the Clemson defense. Jose Alvarado, nice recognition, realizing he had a wide open Kyle Sturdivant. Sturdivant knocking down that 3.
Brian, Georgia Tech, 12 of 20 from 3-point distance. That is a sizzling 60% tonight against the visiting Tigers. Right into the hands of DeVoe on the missed shot from Chase Hunter. And the record here at McCamish has been tied tonight after that most recent 3 from Sturdivant. Little turnaround and touch. Michael DeVoe. Silky steal by Alvarado. DeVoe tees up the 3. Count it.
Georgia Tech's on all cylinders right now. We wanted to highlight that finish by Michael DeVoe. By how about Jose Alvarado coming up with the steal? Brad Brownell again calling a timeout, trying to get his guys settled down. Biggest lead of the night for Georgia Tech, 22 points.
Michael DeVoe has not missed from 3-point real estate tonight.
And how about, you've got to realize that Michael DeVoe is on fire. Guys already shooting 43 from behind the arc. Got to get to him. Clemson's got to gather themselves. And how about the onslaught of 3-point shooting? Georgia Tech with 13 threes.
6 for 6 for DeVoe. And the 6 made threes matches his career high. And thanks to that last jumper from DeVoe, he's up to 20 points in the game. So Coach Brownell has to figure something out and do it fast with 9:15 to go in the second half.
Well, if you're just joining us and you wonder how Georgia Tech has gotten this 22-point lead, you realize that at the first half is a lot of Moses Wright. That allowed Georgia Tech to be able to penetrate and find, and they have shot the ball amazing from behind the arc. But a lot of it is their willingness to make the extra pass. One of the things we talked to Josh Master about is passing up a good shot for a great shot, and that's what we've seen in the second half. is recognition by the guards to be able to make the extra pass.
20 points for DeVoe, 58% shooting for Georgia Tech. Clemson not that far behind at 49% shooting and 7 of 13 on threes. But trailing where it matters most, 68-46 after trailing by 9 at halftime.
And again, if I'm Clemson right now, do you understand that you still got plenty of time? There's 9 minutes left to go in this game. You've got to go ahead and get some stops and baskets. Again, they've been able to penetrate, give some looks to Amir Sims, and then settle out for the three-point shot if you have it open.
Hemingway the entry, Sims the muscle, and he's got it.
And again, that's going to work for them because, again, he's got pounds on Moses Wright. He does a good job of being able to seal down underneath the basket, but you have to be able to run that pick and roll, force Georgia Tech to help.
Don't forget the Tigers are coming off of that loss on Saturday, 85-50 to Virginia. They tried to put it up on the rim to Wright, deflected away and tracked down. Sims running the floor as they work it around the perimeter. Trap up and under.
2 stops by Clemson. And again, this is what they have, is they've got guys that can finish at the rim. Nice finish by Clyde Trapp. Again, Clemson chipping away at that lead.
11 points for Trapp to double digits and 5 of 8 shooting. It concludes a 3-point basket. DeVoe, fancy dribble. Sturdivant crosses it over, looking for Wright. It's the second time in the last couple of minutes they couldn't connect with an alley-oop for Wright, and that is an offensive foul.
How about the position by Bubba Parton? We saw him do that early in the first half, coming up, giving up his body to be able to draw that charge. Again, you see Bubba Parham making the sacrifice to come up. Georgia Tech still holding on to a big lead.
Time for tonight's CPI Security, protecting the paint.
And one of the things for Georgia Tech is that they've done an amazing job of forcing 17 Clemson turnovers, 10 steals. A lot of what they've been doing is you've seen them knocking down threes, but being able to get offense from their defense is something that's huge, allowing them to get that 18-point lead, Tom Wormy. And that's your CPI, protecting the paint.
25 points for Georgia Tech off of the turnovers. And you mentioned 17 turnovers for Clemson. That's usually what the Tigers force against the opposition, second best in the conference. The tables have been turned tonight.
And when you look at the stats for Georgia Tech over the last 3 games, they have been averaging 18.5 forced turnovers. So if you're Josh Pastner, that's one of the things he talked about. Active hands, winning that scrum game so far, paying dividends for Georgia Tech.
Shooting 62% from three-point distance also helps. As Alvarado was in trouble. Held ball situation, and the arrow will favor the visiting Tigers.
And for all of you young basketball players, especially in the point guard position, coaches tell you do not pick up your dribble in that corner. You saw Alvarado get right there, pick up his dribble, and that's no-no for you. Keep your dribble, make the extra pass.
The lead is 18 in the second half. Inside of 7.5 minutes to go in regulation. Tom Wormy along with the Georgia Tech legend Brian Oliver. Part of that 1990 Final Four team here at Georgia Tech under Bobby Cremins. Sims will swoop in and score.
Nice move by Amir Sims. He was able to freeze Moses Wright. He hit him with a pump fake to get him off his toes. And again, a guy that can put the ball on the floor and finish.
So Sims is now 7 of 10 from the floor and 15 points and is the leading scorer tonight for Clemson. That's an easy 2, DeVoe. Give him 22 on the night and 6 for 6 from 3.
And here's the thing with Michael DeVoe, you saw John Newman realizing that he wanted to come up. He hit him with that backdoor. Great recognition by Bubba Parham. Opened up a great backdoor pass and a finish.
4th time this season that Michael DeVoe has gone over 20 points. Favorable bounce.
And you saw that pick and roll between Clyde Trapp and Amir Sims. Again, Jose Alvarado a little late on the rotation, but this is what you can get from Clemson, because if you put him in pick and roll, Moses Wright's got to help, and you force a smaller guard to help on Amir Sims.
Georgia Tech trying to extend that 4-game winning streak. All of those games at home. Most recently a win against Wake Forest, January 3rd. That ball going to Clemson.
One of the plays is if you're a shooter and you see Michael DeVoe realize that he caught him. I mean, in his mind, he's like, okay, I got him. And then great delivery by Bubba Parham. And again, being a three-point shooter, that forces the defense to have to try to deny and overcommit. That last time, John Newman overcommitting. Great recognition. Heady play by Michael DeVoe.
So the Tigers, who started the season 9-1 in a big hole here in the second half, they'd only lost 2 games to start the night. We told you about the Virginia game on Saturday. The only other loss was mid-December at Virginia Tech, 66-60. This is Trapp on a 3, and he's got it.
Good penetration there. You saw Clyde Trapp having his feet set. Good pass over there. And normally not a traditionally good three-point shooter. So if you're Jordan Usher, you want to help and just recover.
Right. Driving in and missing.
Rotation over there by Alex Hemingway. Now allowing Moses Wright a run at the rim. First half, that's a dunk.
And they cut it to 10. The miss on the three-point attempt from Dawes. Newman trying to weave his way. Offensive foul. And once again, with the quick feet, it's Bubba Parham.
Bubba Parham again. This is his 3rd charge. You say making the rotation, realizing that the offensive player is already committed, and Josh Pastner showing his sign of approval.
3rd foul on Newman. Just incredible three-point shooting by both teams tonight. Clemson at 53%, Georgia Tech at 62%. And 13 of 21 in made threes. One more. Usher.
And again, what set that play up was that Georgia Tech was in motion for the first 14 seconds. Most of the time, the weak side is going to relax. Good recognition, realizing he had Jordan Usher, wide open defender, had slipped off a little bit, making that extra pass.
Usher now 4 of 6 from three-point distance.
Again, watch over there. You see John Newman heading off. He's expecting to pick up the roll. Great recognition by Michael DeVoe, realizing that he's got Jordan Usher wide open. And again, by moving that ball, then you force them to make a decision on either to help on Moses Wright or go out and leave a wide open Jordan Usher.
16 points for Jordan Usher. 6 of 9 from the floor. This is Sims. Quick first step. Wright recovered. Alvarado 2-on-2. Usher with the alley-oop. Tipped it. And the basket is waved off.
Hey, you're up.
And you see great recovery on this play. He's on the drive by Moses Wright going up high to get that. And again, he's timed that perfectly because on most of those other drives, Amir Sims has been able to beat him to the rim. Great recovery by Moses Wright.
So again, the basket interference from Usher on that potential alley-oop. Got some fans in the building tonight. Good to hear them. Supporting their home team tonight on Kremen's Court against the number 20 team in the nation, 9-2. Sims prior to the jam. Foul on the floor, according to Roger Ayers. Second foul on Wright. So we'll take a timeout. 73-57, Georgia Tech led at the half, and they lead now with 3:52 to go. Sims on the drive, right on the block. 73-57, Yellow Jackets lead with 3:52 to go in our second half. Time for tonight's Coyote Tractor Turning Point.
And the turning point was Michael DeVoe knocking down 3. He's been money from behind the arc, 6 of 6, and it's been playmaking skills for his teammates, getting him in a nice little rhythm, realizing that, hey, if you give me some daylight, I'm knocking it down. Again, the turning point of the game, Michael DeVoe, 22 points on 6 for 6 from behind the arc, 6 dimes and 4 steals.
Michael DeVoe with the 6 threes. Jordan Usher also has 4 made threes. They've got 14 as a team, and that's a season high. They made 10 in the win against North Carolina on their home floor. That rattles out for the Tigers. And a collision. Usher got tangled up with Hemingway. Good to see both players quickly to their feet. And a foul assessed to Hemingway on the collision. That game against North Carolina was a win. 72-67 for Georgia Tech. In fact, in the month of December, they beat Kentucky and North Carolina.
Or if you look at it, after they dropped the first two non-conference games, Georgia Tech 6 of 7 of their last 7, and then winning 4 in a row.
They lost to Georgia State and Mercer to start the season. That's a distant memory now, and it's Usher again.
Well, and you look at it, how Georgia Tech, their guards, the ball is not sticking. It's penetrate, make the other pass, force Clemson to have to help. And they've been spreading Clemson. You see a nice little move on Amir Sims.
A spinning Sims to the bucket. 19 points, leading scorer for Clemson.
And when you've got Georgia Tech and you've got playmakers in Parham, DeVoe, and also Alvarado, then guys like Jordan Usher end up being the recipient because all three guys can penetrate, and then they force the defense to make a decision.
Usher's got 5 threes to his credit tonight on 7 tries. Wright with 21 points, DeVoe with 22, and he leads the way. This is DeVoe. An awkward-looking shot trying to beat the shot clock. And that is going to be his first miss, right, Brian, from beyond the arc there. Of course, he had no choice but to fire that one.
I got it, sir. I got it. Thank you.
And you see that last play, pass over to Jordan Usher, holding that follow through. He's like, man, are you kidding me? Really? Even that guy?
15 made threes. Georgia Tech had a 9-point halftime lead. Came out smoking in the second half, never looked back. Usher, the runner. That's some old school magic from Usher.
And that's deflating for a team because, again, when you have a Georgia Tech team that's been shooting the lights out of it, and you see Brad Brownell opting for yet another timeout.
Okay, so while we have a second, Brian, let's get a word from Works.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
What a night for Georgia Tech. Jordan Usher among the stars tonight for Josh Pastner. Big first half from Moses Wright. He had at least 4 slams in that first half, and one of them we thought he was going to bring the rim crashing down to the floor.
I mean, if you had told me that when we had our pre-meeting earlier today, Georgia Tech coming off of not playing for 17 days.
I predicted this, Brian.
That they would shoot, they would have 3 guys score over 20 points, and they would have 15 three-pointers made against the second-best defensive team in the league. I would tell you, Tom Wormy, you're definitely on something.
Oh, well, there's no question about that. But, yes, making that statement would have led to the belief that that could be true. But with 1:49 to go, it appears that Georgia Tech is certainly well on its way to this victory tonight. And DeVoe will put on the mask and get a breather. 22 points on the night, 8 of 12. And across the way for Clemson, Amir Sims just kind of glancing up at that scoreboard in disbelief on a number of occasions. And, you know, this is tough for the Tigers. As I mentioned, they started 9-1, Brian, but their last 2 outings have been rough.
Well, and you look at some of the teams that this Clemson team had beat. I mean, they beat a good Purdue team, Maryland. Talked about Alabama, beating Florida State at home, and then a good NC State team, too.
Just Honor trying to drive in. Now, the numbers might suggest that this game should be a little closer for Clemson. They're shooting 52%, 50% from three-point range. But those numbers are just not good enough tonight against Georgia Tech.
Well, obviously, if you look at 20 turnovers for Clemson, and then you talk about Georgia Tech, and we talked about the 15 threes, 20 assists. So that shows a lot for Josh Pastner's team, and then obviously 11 steals.
So Honor is at the free throw line. Gigi Barea has come in. Number 2. Usher to the bench. Probably for the final 127. So gave Usher 21 points on the night. 3 players, 20 points or more. DeVoe 22, Usher 21, Wright 21. 64 points from that trio. We talked about how important Alvarado would be tonight. Brian, 8 points, 3 of 7 from the floor.
I mean, you've even got 7'1" Gigi Maria getting in on the action.
Wow.
Saba's like, let me get a little bit of that action.
He had only attempted 1 3 prior to that and missed it. That's when you know it's your night here in Midtown for Georgia Tech. That's right, 16 3-pointers. I wonder if Coach Pastor is saying, okay, that's enough. Don't use up too many of them at this point. We got a long way to go this season. Their next game is Saturday, and they're at Virginia, the team that defeated Clemson by 35 on Saturday. Virginia's number 13 in the nation. That's a night game, 8 p.m. Virginia's the only undefeated team in ACC play this season, 5-0. They had their game tonight postponed. A couple of games on the schedule were postponed tonight. Longest in-season break for this Georgia Tech program, 17 days. Clemson's had a tough run of it recently as well. We told you about the Virginia game, the effort tonight. They also had a couple of games postponed against North Carolina and Syracuse prior to the Virginia game, and then playing Georgia Tech tonight. Their next game is at Florida State, which could be the hottest team in the ACC right now.
Well, and you look at what they're doing, again, a lot of positive talk about Scotty Barnes, but then when you look at MJ Walker and what he's been able to do, I mean, Leonard Hamilton, he does it year in and year out. They go deep. And then they're also a team that, you know, does a good job of being a lot of pressure on you. They've got guys that can score. Raekwon Gray is a guy that's been doing an awful lot for the last couple of games as well.
Florida State working on a 3-game winning streak. Georgia Tech now with the win tonight, 5 in a row, all at home. But again, Saturday is a road trip to Charlottesville, the number 13 team in the nation. Whistle on the drive. Sturdivant slow to get up. So 81-62. Brian, if you're Josh Pastner, you couldn't have asked for anything more. But if you're Coach Brownell across the way, it's a couple difficult outings in the last 2 games for you guys.
Well, and I think one of the things that they didn't do is that earlier on they couldn't contain Moses Wright. And I think him being able to get off to a hot start forced them to have to make the adjustment on him. That allowed Georgia Tech with their spacing to be able to get really good shooting out from their guards. And it snowballed from there. Couple that with the turnovers that they had earlier on, and I never thought that Clemson ever was able to recover. They chipped away with it, but Georgia Tech, again, 20 assists, Clemson 20 turnovers, and in the way that they shot the ball, I mean, that was actually a display on both ends of the floor for Georgia Tech.
There was a point in the second half, as I recall, Brian, it was 60-47. Clemson had a chance at a 3. They missed that 3. And then Georgia Tech completely took control of this game from that point. Honor hits a 3. 13.1 seconds to go. Some substitutions have come in for both teams. That includes Nico Broadway coming into the game for Georgia Tech. Shaheed Medlock is also in there. Some of the support players getting some minutes, or seconds, as it were, here in the second half. The clock is going to run out. 83-65. That's now 3 wins in a row in the series for Georgia Tech, and they've won 5 in a row. Brian, what a performance tonight from Coach Pastner and the Jackets.
Yeah, amazing shooting. Again, we talked about the fact 21 assists on 31 field goals, 16 3-pointers. They dominate this game, I thought, from beginning to end with their energy. Definitely answered the questions about that 17-day layoff. Got to be ecstatic if you're Josh Pastner. Yellow Jackets moved to 3-1 in the conference.
The 16 threes, that's a season high for Georgia Tech, as Brian mentioned. They've got the conference win. They're now 7-3 overall. And the Clemson Tigers, 2 losses in a row now. They move to 3-3 in conference play and 9-3. And joining us now is Michael DeVoe. Michael, quite a night for Georgia Tech, especially for you beyond the arc, 6 of 6, feeling it. Tell me about the flow and the offense tonight, and the defensive end, for that matter, for your team.
Man, it was an overall great team win. The level of intensity we had during practice this whole week, preparing, we just came out with great energy from every individual on our team. So it was just a high-level team win. So it was a huge one for us.
Michael, tell me, with 17 days since your last game, what was your mindset coming to this game, realizing you guys hadn't played in such a long time?
We need it. We need this one, and we got a huge one Saturday we got to prepare for. So this game is over with, and it was a great one that we won, but we have work to do, and we have a big one coming up on Saturday.
And Michael, tell me about the three-point shooting and getting in the zone and matching your career high, making 6 tonight.
It was just a huge night for me. I felt it from the beginning during warm-ups, and my teammates were getting me open for open looks, and it was just a great team win. So huge one.
Going back to the three-point, at one point you were 6 for 6. It's a night like that, you feel like the rim is just wide open, because there were some that you shot, it seemed like it barely even touched the rim.
Yeah, man, it feels like an ocean out there. You're just throwing little rocks in there, you know? So it was a great one. And when you feel it, you feel it. So, you know, great shooters, when they feeling like that, it's a great one, man.
Michael, thank you, and congrats on the win.
Thank you so much.
That's Michael DeVoe, 22 points, 8 of 12 from the floor, and officially 6 of 6 from beyond the three-point arc. More to come from Atlanta. 83-65 in the aftermath of the victory for Georgia Tech. That's 5 in a row now, all here at McCamish Pavilion in Clemens Court. And you saw the onslaught of 16 made threes in this game, Brian. That's a season high. Couple that with the interior play from Moses Wright, and they couldn't be stopped tonight.
Yeah, Tom, I think that, again, Moses Wright set the tone for them by being able to attack the rim. That forced a lot of help, and then Georgia Tech did an amazing job of being able to make the extra pass. Again, they turned Clemson over early. We talked about the 20 turnovers for Clemson. I thought it was a lot of high energy because, again, 17 days since your last game, not knowing what they were going to do. What an amazing display of shooting, defense, and then, again, the assist and sharing the ball for Georgia Tech.
You know, Clemson didn't shoot it that poorly. Georgia Tech was that good, and the emotional input and the influence of Moses Wright set the tone early, and all of the numbers favoring Georgia Tech tonight in the victory.
Well, you look at the points in the paint. We talked about the 16 threes and how well they shot. 19 fast break points. Again, everything that needed to turn out well for Georgia Tech happened. When you've got 3 guys that score over 20 points, and then you win that scrum game that John Pastor was talking about, with all of the extra turns and getting their hands active, I think that was a recipe for success for Georgia Tech tonight.
So Clemson, with the loss, they've now lost 2 in a row because they lost against Virginia on Saturday. Georgia Tech, as we told you, has won 5 in a row. So that leads us to the standings, and you see that, I mean, yes, we have Virginia at 5-0, but the unpredictability. Now, Florida State is certainly one of the more hot teams right now, but it's unpredictable, Brian.
Well, and it's going to change. And again, you know, that Virginia team, very good. Tony Bennett has had a good defense team, probably one of the better offensive teams, especially shooting, when you have the addition of Sam Hauser in that mix.
And that's the next opponent on the road for Georgia Tech, trying to continue the winning streak. If they bring 16 threes to the party against Virginia, maybe they get the win and hand the Cavaliers their first loss of the season in conference play. So those are the updated standings, and a win tonight for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Once again, our final score, 83-65. Georgia Tech has 3 players go over 20 points in the game and make 16 threes. Don't forget, more ACC hoops. We've got Virginia Tech traveling on the road at the Carrier Dome to take on Syracuse on Saturday. For Brian Oliver, I'm Tom Wormy. So long from Atlanta. It's the Yellow Jackets taking out the Clemson Tigers tonight.